Hello and welcome to Oddsock Comics. This is my new comic book day haul for Wednesday, February 27th. And it is Saturday. I was traveling throughout the week and just got back and hit up my local comic shop to get my pull list. But I did, whenever I travel, I visit local comic shops in whatever town I'm in, and I found a couple of interesting things. Not great, I'll talk about that a little bit. But my real highlight of this week is a couple weeks ago, I was able to pick up Punchline number 4, and I got this fantastic looking variant cover for Punchline number 4, and that's just that's the Valentine's Day theme cover, and I just loved it. And I've wanted to get Punchline. I've been intending to get Punchline since issue 1 came out. I've been following the creators on Twitter, really liked their attitudes, really liked their approach to comic books and what they were sharing and what they were talking about. So I always intended to pick it up, but I was never able to get it at my LCS. It was always, it never hit the shelves. It was always on people's pull lists. I never saw one on the shelf until I went in to get number 4. So I ordered the variant as soon as it came out, or as soon as it was announced, and I found number 4 on the shelf. It was the only copy my LCS had. But I wanted to read it, and I knew I wanted to read it, so I went back and I ordered issues 1 through 3 online. They are a little above cover price, not excessively. This number 1, this is a variant. It's not the expensive variant, but it's the kind of the B cover. Number 3, this was the cat variant. I kind of liked it. I think that this character is kind of interesting and fun, and they're really just enjoying it. I think it's not political. It's not a Comicscape book. It's not anything like that. It's just a fun comic book. Independent creators doing their thing, and it's fun. So I've read it now. I've read 1 through 4. The story's good. The story's really good. It's really fun. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that's deeper in the story that is going to come out as things develop. You can tell that they put some thought into developing this story. So I'm looking forward to that. It's a little bit slow. I'm wondering how long it's going to take to get into some of these details. It's 4 issues in. I've seen a little bit of issues 5 and 6 as they're going to come out. But every issue has plenty of action and an individual story that it kind of ties together, so it's fine. But I want this, I want a little bit more beef to the overarching story. I think it's going to be there. It's just we're 4 issues in, and I'm not getting that. That's okay. That happens with a lot of other comic books. No criticism right now. I do think this is a book to get. I've added it to my pull list. I will be picking this up as it comes out going forward, and I'm really enjoying the characters. The art is fantastic. I think that the cover artist here is the same as the interior art. It looks very similar, and it's really just a lot of fun to read. Great, strong female characters, which can always be happy about that. So that's my favorite book of the week. Now before I get into new books, let me just show 2 other books that I got that are a little bit older. So this one came out a couple weeks ago. This is Exciting Comics number 1, and this is an Antarctic Press book as well. There's a little bit of hype to this book. The idea was that it's kind of reigniting some Golden Age comic books, and or some Golden Age comic book characters. I think that's the idea here. And they're kind of fun. It's good old action. But there are 3 stories in this book, and 1 is fairly strong and 2 are pretty weak. So this is not fantastic writing. It's not fantastic art. A lot of it looks very modeled. It's not the hype book that it should be. That's not one that I'm going to keep going with. I don't think it lives up to the quality of some of the other stuff coming out from Antarctic Press. And the other back issue book that I got, and this was really the best buy of the week. So this is X-Men number 164. This is the first appearance of Binary, who is Carol Danvers, absorbing the power of a binary star system, something like that. And I already had this book, but I was at the shop and I saw this book and it had a $2 price tag on it, and I was pretty sure that was not correct. but I decided that I was going to test it. So I took it up. Sure enough, it rang up at $2. And I think it's not a super expensive book or anything. It's probably worth like $20 when you get something for 90% off. I think that's a good deal. So it looks really good shape. Pretty happy about that purchase. Always nice to find something fun. Now this was at a comic shop. So I was down in a town that I read the reviews of the comic shops around, and this one comic shop had all the best reviews, and people were just so excited about it. But I went in, and it was a true comic shop, like just rows and rows of long boxes going back deep into this store. And it had a whole bunch of stuff. The only problem was that everything that you'd actually want to buy was really expensive. At least the price that you would pay on eBay for it. And that's just one of those things that I'd love to support local shops. If they were the same price as eBay, maybe less the shipping fee, I'd be like, oh man, that's great. Yeah, good. Let me buy from you. But when they're pushing the price and they're just playing that game, I'm just not going to buy as much. That's all, and that's okay. So I still tend to find good little deals, but with the amount of time that I spent looking through boxes and stuff, I wasted far more time than what I feel like I got out of that shop. So that's just my little 2 cents on local comic shops and some of the different styles of business that you get from these guys running these shops. Okay, on to new books for this week. So let me start with Silencer, number 14. I am loving this book. This is just a fantastic cover. I think it's Kirkham. Yeah. And this is very much in the style of what the character Silencer is doing in this book. And honestly, I just really love this. But the book is really fun. It's getting into some character development and some interesting kind of secrets that are being held and trying to get back into the life and repair things that have been damaged. And very cool story. I hope this one picks up. Like, if you're not reading Silencer, I would suggest giving it a shot. It might take a little bit to understand what's going on, but honestly, you should be able to pick up back issues for really cheap because it's not a super popular book or anything. So go find the back issues, pick it up, read this story. It's really good. The superhero aspect of it is excellent. She's got a really unique superpower that she uses very interestingly. It messes with Talia al Ghul and some of the things that go on there with Leviathan and the I don't know exactly, the Assassin Network or whatever it is. Very cool book. Ties into more of the DC universe than you kind of expect. If you haven't read it, pick it up. We need to keep this one popular so that they don't decide to cut it. I think it's still doing okay, but I know that a lot of these New Age of Heroes are kind of borderline. So pick it up, put it on a pull list. Help me out. Help me keep this story going because this is one that I really, really like. All right, next up, I have The Flash 65. This is part 4 of the Price, this Heroes in Crisis tie-in between Batman and The Flash. And it tied everything up. It dealt with Gotham Girl. It was fine. It's the way that you end the story. This wasn't the best tie-in, but it works along the lines of what's going on with Heroes in Crisis. So I was fine with that. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite story. I wouldn't go out of my way to pick it up or anything. All right, but next up we have Heroes in Crisis number 6. And this one I really feel like did not push the story forward at all. There's 9 books total. I mean, they've got to address it. I just didn't really dig what it was doing. There's a lot of dialogue, a lot of conversations that, I can see what Tom King was trying to do. Like one of the plays that the little games that he played that was really kind of fun was he had, can't remember the character's name. I kind of want to see, but he's got this caveman character. I don't know anything about it. It's probably like a C-list or D-list character. This guy right here, Narc. So he's got Narc, and Narc talks like a caveman, and it's kind of just that short sentences and stuff. But then he has Narc start quoting quoting, famous authors with these long poems and stuff. I thought that was pretty fun. Saying that Narc is he's a caveman, but he appreciates culture. I thought that was kind of fun. A good way to play it. Something a little interesting. But other than that, not a lot happened in that book, so don't care too much for it. All right, next up I have Detective Comics number 999. And I wasn't sure if they were going to tie this up in 999 or if they were going to, if 1000 was going to be a big part of the story. Turns out they tied everything up in 999. 1000 is going to be probably a standalone book with a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't tie into one of the major storylines. So that's fine. But they did tie up the previous story on this one. It was a relatively satisfying ending to what's been going on. But it's more of that kind of internal stuff. That's just the mode of comic books right now, especially dealing with Batman. I was hoping for a little more adventure. I know I sound very negative. I'm a very critical person. It takes a lot for me to get like a real good, go get this is awesome. I'm not a person that gives a lot of standing ovations and stuff like that. But I did enjoy it. It's just, there were some weak spots. There usually are. Don't get too upset by my disappointment in some of these books. All right, next I have 2 cover buys. So I like this one. This was the Batgirl number 32, the Derek Chu variant. I think he did the Harley Quinn from a couple weeks ago. I think he's going to do the next Harley Quinn. And they're very digital, very anime style. A little bit interesting. I think he's doing a great job of making them very active, which is fun. They're very colorful. They pop in an interesting way. So I really like this style of book. I'm going to stick them in with my covers. I think they're fun to have. And then I've got, of course, Artgerm. A very gorgeous Wonder Woman cover. My only complaint here is that he's been doing these pin-up styles where it's just the character staring at the camera. I think he's been working on what Western women look like, because his pictures have been getting very much more Westernized, and you can really see it in some of his upcoming work. But they're getting, it's interesting, they're getting a little bit thicker in the waist and not curvier in kind of heavier ways. But I think it's interesting that it seems like his style is changing. Like if you look back to some of the stuff that he did in 2012 to 2014, it was very anime style, and now he's getting much more. He's still got very detailed, very artistic, very beautiful the style that he puts on them, but I think that he's shifting towards a more Western style in the women that he's drawing, especially for the mainstream comics. So those are the books that I bought for the week. Pretty happy about some of them. Not pretty happy about the collection generally. Happy to have caught up with Punchline, and I'm looking forward to keep going with that. Heroes in Crisis, hope that wraps up with something more than just depressed characters. Silencer, I love it. Please, this is the book to get. Exciting Comics was all right. Goodbye, and then a whole bunch of Punchline. All right, thanks for watching. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the books that I bought. If there's something, based on what you're hearing, if there's something you'd like me to check out, let me know. I enjoy looking back for back issues and things. I have one other thing just to mention. Because I was traveling, I looked up a couple of graphic novels that I was reading on my phone while I was in the plane. And I read Thor, God of Thunder. And I think I'm going to talk a little bit about that one in an upcoming video. Very cool story. The God Butcher Gore and the God Bomb. Those are the two I read. I'm continuing on with that. I'm trying to get caught up with Thor. I'm wondering if it would be worth it to get into Thor now. And I'm not quite sure if what's going on with the current run of Thor is something that I really want to get. Picked up a few copies of that, but I haven't over the time as this new Thor started. but I haven't really dug into that one yet. So, give me your thoughts on Thor. Is that something that you think I'd like based on what you've heard so far? Always trying to find something new. A couple of these are going to be fading out or fading off here soon. So, looking to expand a little bit. All right, thanks for watching, and until next Wednesday.